Hey YouTube, it's Jeff, Cap Survivor here, and I wanted to mention that I was reading the news today over on Zero Hedge, and apparently President Trump had tweeted out that maybe the upcoming presidential election should be postponed. No, bad idea. So, if this were to actually happen, it would be the first time in American history that an election for the president would be postponed. Now think about that. Civil War, World War I, World War II, Great Depression. The first time in history of the United States that an election for the president would be postponed. And the reason being, probably not the coronavirus, but because of mail-in votes. Mail-in voting. Now, this is not the same as absentee voting, which is fine, whatever. But apparently, the president is worried about fraud for mail-in ballots. It's a legitimate concern, right? There's a lot of potential for shenanigans, tomfoolery to be had with mail-in ballots. Guys, we need to be really careful. Since the start of the year, January, it's July 30th when I'm recording this. It's 4:48 in the afternoon, and I happen to be at a Civil War battlefield close to home, which is kind of fitting, don't you think? That today I'm at a Civil War battlefield, and the president is tweeting out that maybe we should postpone the elections. Guys, I tell you what, man, Herman Cain just passed away from COVID. Nancy Pelosi is now requiring masks to be worn on the House floor. I mean, God, if anybody would have croaked from COVID, you'd think it'd be her. I mean, she's just one shake away from a hernia. Well, throwing out her back at least. Dangerous times. This, I think, is going to go down as the turning point in American history when historians look back and say, you know what? 2020 was the year that America changed. And whether it's changed for the better, whether it changed for the worse, still remains to be seen. But there's a lot of people with their heads in the sand. They just don't want to look at what's going on and truly realize what it means, because it would mean that their world is not the world that they think it is, and that would shatter their psyche. I mean, I have people that I respect dearly. I mean, dearly. I would do anything for them. Then they don't think it's a big deal. They're just like, whatever. It's business as usual. No. You don't have, 60 straight days of rioting out on the West Coast. Federal courthouse is under siege for an election year. I can understand where they're coming from. Sure, tensions certainly do hype up during election years. Absolutely. But I don't know, to me this just seems wholly different. It feels different. I don't know. If you have not thought about what you would do if civil unrest comes to your area, you really need to start thinking about it. There's a lot of people on YouTube. Southern Prepper 1. I've followed him on and off for years. Really good content. It's not the most, high-speed production out there, but the content is great. Wrangler Star is another good one. Survival Prepping for Normal People. Viking Preparedness. Bear over at Bear Independent. He's good too. A little on the commercial side, but I understand why he's got to do that. He's got to make money, right? Canadian Prepper, City Prepping. Greg Hunter at USA Watchdog. Like, they're all excellent, excellent sources of information. Now, they don't get everything right. Nobody ever will. But I'll tell you what. If you are not thinking of being at least somewhat prepared, you are going to be so far behind the 8 ball that the chances of you making it out well on the other side of whatever this is, whether it turns out to be nothing or it turns out to be cataclysmic and a shift in our entire culture, you are not going to do well. You're going to be at the mercy of other people, and typically throughout history that has not worked out well. Now, who knows? I could be completely wrong. November could come around, Trump could win, everything goes away. Or he wins and it gets ratcheted up even more, because people are going to say, he's not our president, we're not going to respect him, we're not going to follow him, we're going to do our own thing. It happened last time he won. Joe Biden could win. Well, that's a scary thought. And then heavy regulation comes, increased taxes come, and the socialism just gets rammed down our throats, whether we like it or not. It's not going to matter. Either way, changes are happening. They're going to continue to happen. You need to be ready. Food, water, medical supplies, a means of self-defense, a plan. Get together with people that you know, like-minded individuals, neighbors. Come up with a plan. What are you going to do if, God forbid, an angry mob tries to destroy the Starbucks that you live under, which happened out in, I think it was Portland or Seattle, I'm not sure, but it happened. They try to burn the store and you just happen to be living above it. What do you do then? You run out, potentially, put yourself in the middle of the mob? Who knows? But one thing, real estate around cities is booming because everybody's trying to get out. They see the writing on the wall. Luckily, I live in an area where, yeah, we've had a protest, but it wasn't anything like the bigger cities. Will it become something big like the bigger cities? I don't know. It's an interesting mix where I live of rural and urban. More rural, I'd say, than urban. But you people need to be thinking 2-3 steps ahead. What if this happens? What is my plan? What if the economy tanks again? What am I going to do? How can I best position myself to take advantage of it? What if, come wintertime, this whole COVID thing ramps up again because it's the flu season, and we get hit with the flu and COVID and fill in the blank? What happens next year when all these crops that were destroyed because of the first wave of COVID, they don't get sent to the grocery stores? I firmly believe food shortages are going to be in our future next year, and not the type of food shortages where it's going to be, oh, sorry, limit one per customer because everybody's trying to stock up. It's going to be, sorry, guys, we ain't got it, so we can't sell it to what you don't got. Truckers. My goodness. If there was ever an underrated profession before this whole thing happened, it was trucking. Now, they are heroes. And if they're not safe or feel safe going into cities to drop off their goods, they're not going to go. I mean, you could see police escorts for 18-wheelers. I used to think when Venezuela was collapsing, wow, that is a really interesting case study for how a society could fall. Yeah. That could be us. That really could be us. So, I don't know. If you don't have a firearm, what are you waiting for? I mean, like a friend of mine at work said, I don't know, should I buy one now, or, should I wait until things get really bad? Buy it now. If you can find one, buy it now. Buy the ammunition that you can find. It's only going to go up in price. And if you don't need it, and I pray to God you don't, it's like an insurance policy. It's there if you need it. I told my friend, buy it now. Don't wait. Buy it now. Get proficient with it. Know how to use it. I don't know. I hope you, your family, and your friends are safe. You do what you need to stay safe. Thinking about everybody out there. Thinking about my friends and my family. And how we're going to stay safe. All right. Cap Survivor out.